What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MovieGuy.com. If you're a blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about The Sandman, season 2, episode 11. I wish it was season 3. Feels like we're moving to season 3 because there's another episode after this, and I was like, why is there another episode after this? So, this is the answer to the last episode where we saw that Morpheus died and Daniel became Dream. And so now Daniel's dream, it's not Morpheus. It made you think, it kind of, the ending of the last episode was like, wait a minute, is it Morpheus? And he comes back like Gandalf he's all cloaked in white. It's not. It's just like the resurrection of, and so he immediately ages up, and he has like a clean slate. Like he just had a conversation, like Morpheus talked to him before going off, and so he has some context and he understands some things, but he's like a clean slate Morpheus type of thing. So he's basically setting up for the funeral of and trying to put things back together. But what he's putting back together is he's putting back together Morpheus's version of the dream world, which works for some people because I think some people were happy to come back, like Merv the pumpkin, voiced by Mark Hamill. But then, so like Kane comes in and demands that Abel be restored, and which almost doesn't go well for him, but because he's like, you will not demand from me. And then he brings back Abel. So Abel's resuscitated, and it's not even in like a copy way. Like Abel seems to remember that he just died, and he's like, oh, how am I here? So yeah, and Merv comes back, and I think he restores basically everybody like casually. And then finally we get to Fiddler's Green, where he restores Fiddler's Green, and he's like, why am I here? And so he has this conversation with Fiddler's Green where he tells him, he's like, no, because if you bring us back, then our life had no meaning. Our death is what makes our life have meaning. If we can just come back, then what is it to, so I think that's interesting. So he lets Fiddler's Green die a second time, so that way, or go back to being dead. And then I don't know, he ponders what kind of dream he wants to be. Meanwhile, there's this whole like funeral for Morpheus. Lucienne isn't sure what she wants to do, but she's pretty sure that she doesn't want to be the new guy's sidekick, and advise him. And by the end of the episode, she's like set to leave with like Matthew and everybody. And I feel like that's still like really early. Like he doesn't even have, everyone's leaving, and Dream doesn't really have like a sidekick. Like he doesn't have anybody there to help him, like New Dream. So I was thinking that maybe like Nuala, whatever her name is, would stay because she's sort of new. And that maybe she would stay and she'd be the new Lucienne for this dream. No, she's out too. Like everybody's just like, we're all leaving. But the family comes. So like all of the other, desire, destiny, despair, death, delirium, all of them come, and even Destruction eventually. But the Destruction doesn't attend his brother's funeral. He goes and talks to New Dream, and they have a conversation, which is nice. At first it doesn't seem like it's going to be, but then it is. It's fine. And all these people sort of mourn Morpheus, and they all give these little like speeches. The family asks for the other endless, I should say, ask for Lucienne to speak, and they ask Matthew to speak, but Matthew doesn't want to speak. So Lucienne ends up speaking. And I think she had a good speech. Everyone attends the funeral. Like Rose is there, Matt Hetty's there, Lida's there, which is weird because she was trying to kill Dream, but Lida, whatever, she's so worried about Daniel, and she goes to see him finally at the end, and they have a conversation, and it's a little confrontational, but you know, I think it works out. Dream says something about how sometimes there are things that happen to people in life for no reason at all. It has nothing to do with the choices that you've made. Just sometimes things happen, and that's basically what happened to Daniel. He didn't deserve to necessarily die as a baby, and Lita didn't deserve to, lose her spouse and lose her child, but sometimes things just happen to people. So he's very wise for a baby who's been dreamed for all of like a day. And that sends her on her way. So what feels like the series finale is not the series finale, because there's another episode after this, and I don't know why. But we'll get into that. We'll see what happens in the next episode of The Sandman. This was basically the funeral for Morpheus that set us up with Dream. So I guess we're going to see where New Dream goes. There's the Corinthian is here. I don't know if the Corinthian's staying or going. He seems sort of like he could have gone either way with that. He has this sort of like flirtation thing he's got with Joanna Constantine, who also stopped by the funeral. She brought, what's his name, Hob, the guy that's that never dies. It's living up. He's technically immortal. And she brought him into the dreaming with her for the funeral as a friend of Morpheus's. So it's like this weird conglomerate of all these friends. Some of them are still like mortals living in the waking world. They're just dreaming for this funeral. And I'm thinking, like, how weird would that be? Like, this was real. Could you imagine if you kept going into like the dreaming because you were friends with Dream, and so your dreams weren't normal. They were all like adventures with Dream. And then like you go attend his funeral and you're like, am I gonna dream again? I don't understand what just happened. Did this dream dead? So anyway, I like this episode. It was a nice send off. I kind of wish this was the series finale, so I'm intrigued as to what they think will be the series finale. Anyway, because I thought this was a nice closer for the series, but we'll find out what they thought was stronger. I'm gonna give this an A because I would have closed the series on this. It was a nice note. We got to say goodbye to everybody. I don't know what's still looming out there. I don't know why we're doing more, but I'll watch it and then I'll talk about it. So that's it. That's a quick Sandman recap. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.